Nitish, the first thing you see when you join the meeting is you got rickrolled.
Rickroll should be a video or an audio. You can't rickroll by a picture.
Huh?
That's not how it works. You can't rickroll by a picture. That's not how it works. Only video
Never
or
gonna
audio.
leave you out, never gonna let you down, never
That's not
gonna
actual
run.
rickroll. Like the best rickroll is like the drums beat.
Okay.
What the hell? That's so bad. Why you even trying it? Check out this.
Hey, when Ponguel joins, play the rickroll music, and I'll have
You
the
heard
video.
it? You heard it?
No, da.
You didn't hear it? Good evening, sir.
Very good evening. How are you all?
It's we are fine.
Sir.
Is my voice audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, the assignment, there are so many questions they not even like teach us yet.
Yes, we will
sir,
study those.
like all the questions
Entries
assignment you
law.
will teach, sir.
Yeah, we will study those topics today. Don't worry.
Yes, sir.
Actually, last time we have not taken the class, right? That's why we have actually not studied those
Oh, you do
topics.
not make the assignment, sir?
Yeah, I am making the assignment. I'm
Then
just
why,
saying
sir?
that last time due to urgency I couldn't take your class, so that's why those topics we have not studied yet. So today we will study. So tell me, is this screen visible to all of you? Is this screen visible? Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes,
Can
sir.
you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear
Okay.
you, sir.
Okay, so let's start. We have actually discussed the various properties of water. Now, today we will study some important phenomena which are actually related to some salts. We are actually having two types of salts. One is your hydrated salt, another is known as anhydrous salt, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, let me write it. Is it visible here? So we are having an anhydrous salt, right? Anhydrous salt. So can anybody tell me what is anhydrous salt? See, actually, anhydrous salt is that which do not contain water of crystallization in it. So that salt which do not contain water of crystallization. Do you know what is water of crystallization?
Sir.
No, sir.
Can you tell water of crystallization? Okay, I will tell you. So I told that anhydrous salts are those which do not contain water of crystallization molecules. So that means if we are having any such salt in which there is no any water of crystallization, for example, if I am just talking of sodium chloride, that's my NaCl. So this is my anhydrous salt. There isn't any water molecule attached with this, right?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, if I am just taking potassium chloride, so there isn't any water of crystallization. That means any water molecule attached. So it's my anhydrous salt. Similarly, if I am just taking the potassium sulfate, K2SO4. So what are these? These are those salts which do not contain water of crystallization. Now another type of salt we are having, that is known as hydrated salt. So hydrated salt, it is actually your that salt which contains water of crystallization in it. That means there are water of crystallization molecules. That means some water molecules are attached to the salt. Okay, I will write it here. That hydrated salt contains water of crystallization. Contains water of crystallization. For example, if we just talk of, can you tell me, we are having the salt like this. For example, if I will write just calcium chloride, that is my CaCl2, it has two water molecules attached to this salt. So this salt is your hydrated salt. So have you got it now? Hydrated means when there are some water of crystallization. Now these molecules which are
Sir,
here,
what is crystallization, sir?
okay, I will tell you. Crystallization, actually it is that process in which we actually make crystal from impure substance. Crystal is a pure form of substance. Okay, I will write it here. What is crystallization? You will write it. Crystallization, it is a process in which crystals are formed. Process.
Sir, in this week's assignment paper,
I
we
already
didn't
said
know
that.
like any answer, sir.
No, he
Okay, no.
said one because
Not even
one
a
class
single one,
he
sir.
didn't. No, like one
I
class didn't happen.
told
No,
that I couldn't take your class last time, so that's why we have not studied those topics. But
Not
not
even
to.
one we know, sir.
first two
Okay,
questions was
okay, no problem, no problem. We will
first section
study
was
each
easy.
one.
First whole section was easy. After that
Mhm.
only I didn't know anything.
Okay, so what is crystallization? It is a process in which crystal is formed. In which crystal is formed from a hot saturated solution. From a hot saturated. Do you know what is saturated solution? Okay, we will study these types of solution in detail. Hot
Sir, we know.
saturated. Okay, that then it's
Sir, we
good.
studied it, sir.
Yeah, from a hot saturated solution by cooling. So this process is known as
We learned it
crystallization.
last year.
Exactly. So now what is crystallization? Have you got it now? It is the process in which crystal is formed. That means crystals are here formed.
Separation method.
Exactly, from a hot saturated solution by cooling. But here you have to remember that crystal, it is the pure form of substance. Crystal is the pure form of substance. So it is
The
your
remaining
when.
piece of water, like the solution remaining liquid state is the impure one.
Yeah. So whenever we have any hot saturated solution of impure substance and then we are cooling it, we will get the pure crystals of that substance. So this process is known as crystallization, and the pure substance which we get, they are known as crystals. They are known as crystals, and this process is your crystallization. Now, during crystallization, what happens? Some water molecules, they get attached to the salt, and they are known as hydrated salts. So, for example, if I will
Yes.
just write another example of this hydrated salt here. For example, let's take another example. We are having copper sulfate pentahydrate, isn't it? That means copper sulfate, it is
Yes.
attached with five water
The
molecules. So,
CuH4 5H2O.
yeah, exactly. So
You
these
were all
five
wrong
H2,
with the test, so these people
so
said it's a
these
7H2O, sir.
So these five H2O molecules, they are known as water of crystallization. So from now onwards, you will remember what is water of crystallization. So these are nothing but the water molecules which get actually attached to the salt when we do the crystallization. So whenever we do for example, okay, I will tell you how crystallization is carried out. For example, we are just having, let's say we are having copper sulfate, that is CuSO4, but it is my impure one, right? It is my impure, correct?
Yes.
It is not pure. Now what I do, I just put it in water and I just make it a solution, correct?
Yes, sir.
And when I will just make the solution of this impure copper sulfate and then I'm just heating it, now what will happen due to heating? It will become a saturated solution, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Now tell me, when it becomes a saturated solution, after that what we do? we just put this saturated solution in a china dish. I hope you have seen in the lab china dish. It is just like this.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
Made
So
exact.
when we put this saturated hot saturated solution in this china dish, then we just cool it out. So when this hot saturated solution is cooled down, then we get what? We get the crystals of this copper sulfate, and those will be like this. That means you will get now CuSO4 5 into 5 times water. That is your water of crystallization. Got it now?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah. So
So
that
that
means you have
So one second,
pentahydride
one
will
second, sir. I just
remain, and then the copper sulfate will be like crystallized.
exactly. You have to remember that when there are 5 H2O molecules attached to this copper sulfate, at that time you will call it as hydrated salt. When it is only CuSO4, so that means there is no any water of crystallization attached to it. So at that time you will call it as anhydrous salt,
sir,
isn't it?
CuSO4 5H2O is blue vitriol, right?
Exactly. It is known as blue vitriol, so it has blue color. Exactly. Right.
Guys all
So the
made mistake
crystals
in the
are blue
test.
in color.
Exactly. Those crystals are blue in color, and they are your pure crystals. They
It's
are just your
Also,
precipitate,
uh,
it's also called
copper
hydrated copper.
hydroxide.
yeah. This is known as hydrated copper sulfate. So this is
Copper
known as copper sulfate
hydroxide is
and
blue precipitate,
pentahydrate.
right, sir? Or no, dirty green. Sorry, copper hydroxide is dirty green precipitate, right?
Exactly. Exactly. That is your dirty
Copper
green.
hydroxide is dirty green.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So have you written down
copper
this? Shall I move
hydroxide
to
is.
the next page?
Yes,
One
sir.
second, Simon. The
Yes,
last line.
sir.
Last line.
Bruh, classics, uncle.
What do you mean? I was eating my lunch when I joined the class.
Shut up and write. It's 5 o'clock. It's 5:45.
Uh,
I went to
Today
go
you
get my guitar.
Today you just focus on the class, have maximum time here so that we can study a lot of topics here so that your
So
assignment
the
will become
test
easy.
that's coming, it's on water, right, sir?
Yes,
Yes,
water.
exactly. The test will be on 2nd of July and it will be for the complete unit, that's water. So I hope
Sir,
that you will,
2nd
I
of
have to
July.
write 2 tests, sir.
Sir,
yeah.
2nd of July is Nitish's birthday, sir.
Okay. No
I have
problem.
to write 2 tests on that day.
We will see accordingly.
Okay, it will end at
Yes, sir,
12:30.
done, sir. Done, sir.
Yes, sir, you can go to the next page, sir.
Okay, okay. Now tell me if I will just write it is my zinc sulfate ZnSO4, and similarly if I just write my zinc sulfate, then I will write heptahydrate. So which is your hydrated salt and which is anhydrous salt?
Sir,
sir,
Zinc
hydrated is
sulfate is
on the right
anhydrous
side
salt.
and anhydrous is on the left side.
Exactly.
What?
So this
No.
zinc sulfate heptahydrate, it is your hydrated salt, right?
Yes,
no,
sir, but zinc
yeah,
sulfate
yes, sir.
alone is an
Sir, zinc,
anhydrous salt, right, sir?
yes,
Zinc
because
It is
that's
sulfate
the
alone
one that
is an
contains the
anhydrous salt.
hydrated salt.
exactly. So anhydrous simply means when there is no any water of crystallization. So if now question is asked that now this zinc sulfate heptahydrate, it is known as white vitriol, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
No, now can you tell me then that in this white vitriol, how many water of crystallization are there?
Sir. 7.
Exactly, water of
7.
crystallization will be 7. So water of crystallization in white vitriol, it is equal to 7. So there are 7 water of crystallization molecules. Now next example, if we will just look another example of this hydrated salt, that is your green vitriol, isn't it? That is your FeSO4 into 7 times water. It is also your hydrated salt, isn't
Will
it?
you be able to kick people out, sir? I'm in 2 devices. Oh shit. So yes, sir. Can you kick like the person that's muted? I mean, not muted, sir.
Imposter Niti.
Okay, you
Imposter
just
Nitish.
mute one and have only one.
Why can't
I can't
you
leave
leave? Why?
that website. I don't even know where like website went. Okay, so you just continue, sir.
Okay, so now this is your hydrated salt. Now can you tell me, and this is your green vitriol, isn't it? This is known as green vitriol.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so this is your hydrated and anhydrous salt. I hope you can now solve questions on this. Now, next is we had study here actually. If we are having this hydrated and anhydrous salt, then there are various terms associated with these actually salts. One is known as efflorescence. I will write it here. One of the topic is here efflorescence. Now, what is actually efflorescence? We are having some salts which, when exposed to air, they lose their water of crystallization. So,
Sir, is ZnSO4 7H2O white vitriol?
exactly, it is white vitriol. Exactly.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I
Yeah,
didn't know.
it's given in a book.
So, I will write it here
I didn't
that
even know
efflorescence
there was something called as white
process
vitriol then.
in which,
Bruh.
when salt is exposed to air, it
So
loses
what's
its
the
water.
other one?
It is the
Efflorescence and
efflorescence. It is a process in which, when salt is exposed to air, lose its crystallization.
Unguvel. Please
Have
mute
Mute
me.
yourself then.
you got this term now?
Hey,
What is
Yes,
Yes,
efflorescence?
sir.
sir.
So it is a
Yes.
process
hey,
when we
Nitish, you mute one of your device.
What? Nothing is coming from my device, It's Ponguvelda.
so are you getting? I'm just saying that efflorescence
Yes,
is
sir.
that
Yeah.
process in which, when salt is exposed to air, it loses its water of crystallization. For
Yes,
example,
sir.
just as I told that if I'm just having, okay, let's say the washing soda. Do you know what is washing soda?
Yes, sir.
Washing soda.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that is your sodium carbonate decahydrate. It is, isn't it? That is into 10 times water.
Yes, sir.
So
10
that means
H2O.
Yeah,
10 H2O.
exactly. So
Na2CO3.
exactly, Na2CO3 into 10 times water. That is your washing soda. Now tell me that when you
Washing soda.
expose this washing soda to the air, what will happen? It will just lose these water of crystallization molecule.
Yes.
Na2CO3 will become an anhydrous
Exactly,
this
exactly.
salt.
It was
Anhydrous salt.
hydrated. It
Anhydrous.
was hydrated. So when it is exposed to the air, it will lose its water of crystallization. So it will become anhydrous. Similarly, we are having another very important salt that is known as Glober salt. Do you know what is this salt? Glober salt.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
it's
We learned
something
this.
decahydrate
This
only, sir.
thing.
It
It's
is
also
sodium
decahydrate.
sulfate
What is it? What
deca.
is it?
Glauber
Decahydrate.
salt.
It is Glober
Global
salt. Glaubers. Glober salt.
Na2SO4. So,
Yeah, it is
goes with sodium
Na2SO4.
sulfate decahydrate.
Exactly, it is your sodium sulfate decahydrate. So these salts are known as efflorescent salts. Got it?
Yes, sir. Sir,
So
this
these
chapter is
salts,
actually quite tough.
yeah. So you
No,
have
yeah,
to
I
work
think it's
hard.
easy.
Efflorescent
I mean,
salts.
it's tougher than the other ones.
Actually, see, you have to remember here most of the things. That's why it seems to be tough. So you have to revise it 2 and 3 times, then it will become easy.
Yes, sir.
So have you got this? So this phenomena is known as efflorescence, and these salts are known as efflorescent salts. Correct?
Salts.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Shall I move to the next page?
Yes,
So, one
sir.
second,
Sir.
sir.
Okay.
Bruh.
Wait.
How is so slow, da?
I have a better handwriting than you do.
Marx doesn't say the same thing now.
Doesn't matter. I'll get better than you in this time.
Yeah, I got better than you in the
Yes,
test also.
your order.
Yeah, you're audible.
In chemistry, I did so good. The teacher did, I did so much, so good, sir. Chemistry.
Mm-hmm. Shall I move to the next page, third?
Yes, sir, you can, sir.
One
It's in your
second, sir. One
textbook, da,
second, sir.
uncle. It's in your textbook, da.
No.
Search in your textbook. In the textbook.
Now see here.
Everything is in there.
Next is your what is deliquescence.
The so
Deliquescence.
we'll on this.
So what is deliquescence? Can you tell me, anybody?
I don't know, sir.
No, sir.
Actually, when some salts they are just put in water, they form a saturated solution. Okay, I will write it
Okay,
here.
okay, okay, okay.
Oh, they form from anhydrous salt to a hydrated salt.
Yeah, we are actually see. I will tell you. Deliquescence. It is the phenomena in which you just write it. Phenomena.
There is also a process.
So if we put table salt in some water, will it become a deliquescence?
No, no, not at all. I will just tell it in. It is a phenomena or process in which some salts absorb so much moisture. They actually absorb so much moisture. Absorb so much moisture that it gets converted. That it gets converted into a saturated solution. Got it now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So that means actually these salts, when they are just exposed to the air, they just absorb so much moisture. That means moisture is already present in the air atmosphere. Now they just absorb it. When they just absorb so much moisture, it gets converted to a saturated solution. So this is known as deliquescence. I will just give the example of the salts which actually show deliquescence. It is your sodium
Yes.
hydroxide. Have you seen these sodium hydroxide in the lab?
No,
In
sir.
what, sir?
Lake.
Sodium hydroxide. They are just in the form of pellets. Pellets are just like your
Like where are they found, sir? What did you say?
in the
Sir, like
lab.
what color are they? What color
They
are
are
they?
just white color, white. They are present in the lab. They are actually in the bottles. They are in the form of buttons. So
Yes,
that's why
yes,
they are
yes, 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 sir.
exactly
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
pellet.
Sir, it's like, is
I
it
don't
like
know,
when,
sir. What is it?
it's like when, sir,
It is
I
also
think it is also found when fishermen go in and when they come back, they have that white button-like things. Is that also Na,
no. That is
sir?
not any. It is actually your base, which is actually present in the chemistry lab. It is present in the laboratory in bottles in the form of pellets. Pellet means here the button like the T-shirt buttons, right? But now when it is when you just open the button and you just put these NaOH pellets. Okay, let me write it here. Let's say these are your
What
NaOH
is a
pellets.
pellet, sir?
Pellet means button like. Have you not seen the buttons on your shirt?
Oh, it's like a tablet.
Exactly, in the tablet form, like the tablet, like the button. So that's why they are known as pellets, NaOH pellets,
Oh,
sodium hydroxide. Now, when you just put out of the bottle, that means when you just expose these NaOH to the air, what happens? It will now just absorb moisture itself. You have not to put it in water; it just absorbs moisture from the air, and then it gets converted to solution, saturated solution. So this is known as
oh,
this
it's
phenomena is
melting
known
at
as
the room temperature.
y- yeah. It we are not just putting it in water. We are just exposing it to the air. It absorbs so much moisture. It gets converted to a saturated solution. So this phenomena is known as deliquescence, and
Yes,
these
I know.
salts are known as deliquescent salts. Got it?
So is there another example, sir? I didn't
Yes,
understand
sir.
this example.
Okay, no problem. I will give one more example. You just remember that this NaOH, it is your deliquescent salt. Deliquescent. I will give one more example. Just we are having the potassium hydroxide. This was one example. Another example is potassium hydroxide. It is also your deliquescent substance. That means when you just take this potassium hydroxide and you just expose it to the air, it absorbs moisture. And when it absorbs moisture, it just gets converted to solution. That's simple. Okay, I will give another example like magnesium chloride. It is also present in the lab. You can sometimes, if you are Going into the laboratory, you can just see these chemicals there. This sodium hydroxide is your base,
So what
potassium
are these
hydroxide
saturated solutions used for? Sir? Like only for experiments or like used in daily life?
they are used in experiments, not in daily life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So now tell me, this magnesium chloride, it is your salt, isn't it? Salt. So but it is
Yes,
also your
sir.
deliquescent. So you have to remember that deliquescent means when you are just exposing these chemicals to the air, they absorb so much moisture that they get converted to saturated solution.
Yes, sir.
Got it now?
So can you tell what a saturated solution actually is, sir?
Okay, first tell me, have you completed this? Then I will move to the
Yes,
next
sir.
page. I will
Sir, sir, sir.
Yes,
No, sir. Don't listen to him, sir.
sir.
Yes, sir,
It's in the
listen to me,
textbook.
sir.
What do
Next
you mean don't
page.
listen to me? Sir,
I
I
will
have
just
a doubt.
I will
As
just
long as
suggest that you keep your handwriting a little bit fast.
I have a doubt till Sankar writes, sir. So
Okay,
what
tell me.
are clouds made up of, sir? Is it
Yes,
like
sir,
water
Kongwell. That's all
vapor,
you need to know.
dust, or
Yes.
what is it, sir?
Exactly. Clouds are made up of water vapors. Actually, the water which is
Oh.
present in the sea oceans, they just vaporize and they form the clouds.
So is it like normal air? Then why is it like in a shape? So like it's in a actual shape, definite shape.
You see, actually, what happens when this water vapor, that is the moisture, it goes upwards. Now, can you tell me when it moves upwards, is there pressure, temperature high or low?
Low, sir.
Low, exactly. Temperature.
Haida.
Low,
No,
it is low.
when we move upwards, temperature is low. So at that
Okay.
time, these
Exam.
water vapors, that is the moisture, they just collapse and they give this shape. And similarly, when sunlight falls on these, it becomes yellow in color. So that's why clouds mostly
Oh,
they look yellow,
Sir.
white. Okay, now shall we move to the
okay.
next
Hey,
Now
page?
you
you've
can go to the
been
next page,
through
sir.
clouds in
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
flights,
sir.
Nitish. You've
Now,
been
okay,
in a
No, we
flight.
go above. We go above the clouds, sir.
We'll go above the
No,
clouds,
we
actually.
sometimes go through the. You sometimes go through the clouds.
That's why most of the
Yeah,
clouds
answers
are
are
only.
normally
Yeah.
below. That is why sometimes aeroplane it is above the clouds. Clouds are below. They are formed near the surface of the
Sir, but
earth.
while going up, it'll go through clouds, no?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
uh,
There's
Yeah,
not
then
a
you'll
big
get
okay,
thing.
sir.
good
You
It
can
can't
continue,
shooting.
yes,
teleport
sir.
it.
Okay, sir.
It
Yes, you
Now
can
can't
see here,
continue.
teleport to the stratosphere, sir.
whenever we form a solution, we are having two things. One is your solute, another is your solvent. We
You
have
got
already discussed
explanation.
this, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, it
Yes,
says that
sir.
you have a problem with
Yes, sir.
integrated. So be like,
Now tell me that when you
Same
just
thing.
form a solution, for example, if you are just taking solute as your initial and solvent as your water, you get a true solution. So it just forms a true
Sodium
solution.
hydroxide and H. Oh, I know. The sodium
how
hydroxide.
So it's
sodium hydroxide? How
neutralization
sodium
reaction.
hydroxide?
It's
Similarly, if you just take
neutralization
sodium
reaction.
hydroxide and you just put it in water, it will also form the
How
true solution.
sodium hydroxide?
Sorry, da.
Okay,
I
okay,
don't know.
okay.
Sodium hydroxide is just the solid white as your NaCl. So when you just put it in water, you get a you get a true solution. True solution is that actually in which particle size is, okay, I will write it here that in true solution, particle size is
Fix it
less
down.
than less than
Oh, okay.
1 nanometer.
Yes, 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 sir.
Anybody tell me what is 1 nanometer, how much it is?
So
So,
zero
10
point
to the
zero
10.
power of
zero. No,
9. 10 to the power of 9. Negative, sorry, 10 to the power
Then
of negative
negative
9. Yeah, 10
nine.
to the power of 9.
Negative
it is
9.
Yeah, 10 to the power of
Yeah, I
negative 9.
forgot.
10
I
to the
said
power
so.
9, negative 9 meter.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot you.
Minus 9. Okay, now tell me here, and now you are having a solution can be your dilute solution or
Get
it
good
can
at
be
physics, guys.
Hey, shut up,
dilute,
da.
dilute solution, or you can also have concentrated solution. So dilute solution means that here water is in excess, solvent is in excess, right?
Yes, sir.
Solvent is in excess. So when water is in
Yes,
excess,
sir.
it is your dilute solution. Now, similarly, what is concentrated solution?
So when solvent is less?
Exactly, and solute is more, right?
Yes, sir.
So
Okay.
solute,
So dilute hydrochloric acid as more of the water
water.
or
Exactly, exactly.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
So dilute HCl means water is in excess, water is in more quantity. Now, similarly, you will also remember what is aqueous solution. Can you tell me what is aqueous solution?
So can
So
you
when
repeat what is concentrated again?
Waters.
A concentrated solution is that solution in which solvent is in less amount or quantity and solute is in more quantity, excess.
Okay.
Okay, now aqueous solution. What is aqueous solution? It is that solution in which
Anything
solvent
with
So
is
there
water.
is sir, so
so
there
That
is
it
is
is
something
a
water,
called
sir.
as
solution in which
dilute.
Solid
water is the
Okay.
I
water.
mean,
Okay, stop
exactly
it.
when
Stop
water
it,
is
so
sir.
the
when water
solvent, it
is
is
the
your aqueous
solvent, sir.
solution. Exactly. So what is
Sir, so there
non-aqueous
is
solution?
something called sir, so there is something called as dilute hydrochloric acid and concentrated hydrochloric
Ex-
acid.
Exactly. For okay, okay, I will give you example. For
Okay.
example, if
There's also
I'm just
something called hydro.
if I'm just saying that I'm having a 0.5% HCl solution. So what is this? It is your dilute solution. Now, if
Yes,
I'm
sir.
just giving example that I'm having, let's say 80% HCl solution. What is that?
So
Concentrate.
more than water,
Exactly. That means here,
concentrated solution.
yeah, that means here 80 ml is that of HCl and 20 is that of water. So when we are having 80 ml HCl, so it is your concentrated. Now,
So
aqueous
what
means
about
when,
like 50-50?
okay, if we are having 50-50, then you cannot tell which is dilute, which is concentrated. They are equally
We can say it's an
concentrated at
aqueous
that.
solution, sir. We can say it's an aqueous solution because solvent is water.
Yeah, exactly. When you are having water as solvent, it is known as
You
aqueous.
can
So what
call
is
it as
non-aqueous solution?
When
Okay.
there's no
What
water
if
in the solution.
In which solvent is other than water, right?
Yes, sir.
When solvent is other than water, then it is known as non-aqueous. For example, what can be other than water? Can you tell me other solvents which are other than water?
So
Like
Sir,
alcohol and
I
alcohol, we are having, okay,
sir,
benzene, we are
kerosene,
having,
kerosene.
oil.
exactly, kerosene, we are having,
Yeah, methane.
Petroleum.
ether, we are
Brother.
having, etc. We are having various, etc. Okay. Have you written down
Methane,
this?
methanol.
use.
No,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Just write it.
So
Hey,
I've,
are you even
Mhm.
writing the Nitish? You're just taking screenshots. Tomorrow, bring your chemistry notebook. Let's see.
yeah, I'll bring it tomorrow. Okay, I'll bring it tomorrow. Then how do you think
After the class,
everyone
Nitish.
finished and you're the only one who didn't finish?
Example is alcohol, benzene, and what?
Okay,
Kerosene.
me,
Kerosene,
Kongwell, and you, Kongwell, and
kerosene and
Tarun did
ether.
not do.
Sir, this
All,
guy is such a I don't know what to say, sir. Sir, this guy is
all
sharing
try,
his notes in school, sir. Those guy didn't pay at all, sir.
Sir, I
all
was just
try
trying to
to,
flex on them, sir.
all try to note down with the pen because taking screenshots, that is not better. When you just write
I do
one,
think
two, three
so.
times, yeah, exactly. Have you now completed it?
Sir,
Yes,
last
sir.
sentence, sir.
Okay, write it.
So is methane an example, sir? Methane, ethanol,
Yeah,
methane,
yeah.
all.
Methanol, they are all your non-aqueous solvents.
Kongwell, you're muted there.
So what about bases which are not which are not alkalis?
Yes, bases which are not alkalis. See, actually, that alkali which is soluble in that base which is soluble in water, that is known as
Sir, sir,
alkali.
sir, sir, sir. Sir, so
Sir,
every
so
sir,
that can
so
be example, sir.
Okay, I will
okay,
write it
wait.
on the next page. Okay,
Sir,
let
so
me
the
write it.
product of every neutralization reaction is a true solution, sir.
Exactly, that is a true solution. Okay, I will write here. All alkalis are bases,
But
but
no, all bases are not alkalis.
All bases are
exact,
not alkalis.
but all bases are not alkali. Because what are alkalis?
Which are soluble in water. Bases which are
Yeah,
soluble
yeah,
in
yeah.
water.
Yes.
Exactly. Any base which is soluble in water, that is known as alkali, right?
Example.
Yes, sir.
Alkali means base which is soluble in water, which is soluble in water. So can you give me the example
So
of alkali?
hydroxides are bases, right? Hydroxides.
Exactly. Hydroxides are bases like NaOH. It is your
Yes.
alkali. Potassium hydroxide, it is your alkali. Lithium hydroxide, it is your alkali. They are those bases which are soluble in water, and these hydroxides which contain actually OH, they are your bases. Correct? Okay. Now
Even
tell me
chlorines are, sir, chlorines are also alkalis, right?
Hey,
which
chlorines
one?
are salts.
Which one?
Chlorines are salts. So he's
Wait.
asking
Oh,
chlorines.
sorry,
See,
sorry.
those
No,
are
Sorry,
no, that is
salts.
not the base. That is
sorry.
exactly. Okay. Now tell me
Sorry,
that if
chlorines are.
fluorines are fluorides,
So
chlorides,
those are
right?
also salts. I mean, salts.
Oh,
Fluorine is also
that.
salt.
Are you talking of this like sodium fluoride, sodium chloride? They are your salts.
So these are also
Yes, sir.
salts.
They are your salts, right? Potassium bromide, they are all your
Sulfate.
salts. Yeah, sulfate, they are also your salts.
Yeah,
Now
sir.
tell me,
Yes, sir.
I
Next.
next is actually what you had studied. What is saturated and unsaturated solution?
I
Now tell
don't
me
know.
what is saturated solution?
I don't.
Sir, the one with this one, water as its solvent.
No, no,
Correct?
no. That is aqueous. That is aqueous. We have told
That's
that it is
aqua.
your saturated solution. It is actually that solution in which no more solute can be further dissolved. No more
Oh,
solute
oh, like
can be
you have a specific amount of
exactly.
sodium chloride,
And,
and
but
then you
the
can only put a specific amount of water or sodium chloride. Yeah.
at a given
I'm
temperature.
sure if you increase the container size, you can fit more.
No, you can't.
No, no,
Rasi.
doesn't
The
depend on the
solvent has to
container
be.
size. Doesn't it depend on the container size? I will just give you the example. For example, if you just take 100-gram water, if you just take 100-gram
Sir,
water,
I
You can put
mean, no,
till
sir, I
100.
get
I
it,
mean, you can put till 900. I mean,
sir, I get it, sir. I mean, like if you increase the like the jar size,
hmm,
you can fit more volume of the solution.
you
you can fit more volume, but you cannot dissolve more solute in it. It is actually
the
the
100
task
Sir,
of
grams
the
of
process.
water only like 100, 99 grams of water.
I meant it the other way, sir. So
If you
So
Okay,
only
now
increase the
99
both
size of
grams
your
of
brain, you can
salt.
occupy more brain cells and become smarter. Do that first.
see here that if we are having
brain
100
cells.
gram of water, you are just
So
putting 36 gram of NaCl. You just concentrate here. I'm just saying that if I'm just having a beaker, okay, let's say I'm having just this one beaker, and let's say I'm having here 100 gram of water, and now I am just putting in this 100 gram of water, I'm just putting 36 gram of NaCl. Correct?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. It's
Now
36% concept.
all these 36 grams, they will just dissolve in it, and it will just form a true solution. Got it?
yes, sir.
Now,
After 36
now,
grams, it won't. It
now,
will become invisible.
now, see here that if now I just put 1 more gram, that means if I'm now adding it, let's say I'm adding 1 more gram of NaCl, what will happen? That gram will not dissolve. That will just remain here. So this
Unless
is
you
your one.
increase the temperature.
Yes, if we increase the temperature, then it will dissolve. But if I am just keeping the temperature, let's say 25 degrees Celsius, at
Won't
25 degrees
dissolve.
Celsius, what has been observed that only 36 gram gets dissolved. If we just put 1 more gram, it just remains as it is there. So that is why we say that we cannot dissolve more solute in it. So that's why this solution is your saturated solution. Got it now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I'm again repeating that if you are having 100 gram of water at 25 degrees Celsius, you can dissolve only 36 gram NaCl in it. If you now just put 1 more gram, then that will not dissolve, that will just remain at the bottom of the beaker. So this is known as saturated solution. Got it?
So I thought
Yes, sir.
anything less than 100 grams of water will be able to dissolve.
No, this is practically proved. You can just do this experiment at your lab in your school. or at your also at your home, you have to just to take 100 gram of water in any container, in any beaker, in any glass. Then at temperature should be 25 degrees Celsius. Then you can take the 36 gram of NaCl and you can stir it with the help of glass rod, and you can see that it gets dissolved. But if you now take more of the salt, that means if you now take, let's say, 1 more gram or 2 more grams, then they will not dissolve, they will just remain at the bottom of the beaker. So that's represents that it is now saturated, that means in which no more solute can be further dissolved. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, shall we move to the next page?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now tell me then, what is unsaturated solution?
Sir, the one that
Where
can
more of the
fit.
solution can't add, I mean, more of the solvent can't be dissolved in the solute.
No, it is
What
unsaturated
are the
solution is
salt?
that solution
Uh,
in which
sir,
more solute can be dissolved, in which more solute can be dissolved
What like at any temperature?
at a given temperature. That
But
means
I can
just
do that in saturated solution also, sir.
at a given temperature. I will tell
Oh,
you. For example, if you are now having, let's say, 100 gram water again, 100 gram water.
more, more than
Now
36 grams,
you are just putting 10 gram NaCl. Will it dissolve it in it?
sir.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, it
Yes,
will
sir.
dissolve.
Maybe 10%.
Yeah, that's
Maybe 10%
Exactly.
of.
So if I'm having this 100 gram water here, and I'm just putting this 10 gram NaCl in it,
10
so it
grams.
will dissolve. Yeah, it is your 10%. We will just study also the percentage. Now tell me, if I am just putting, let's say, 5 more grams of salt in it, will those 5 grams dissolve in it?
Yes, sir.
Exactly, they will dissolve in it, because it is your unsaturated solution. Because we can dissolve more solute up to 37. When it becomes 36 gram, then it becomes saturated. At that time you cannot dissolve more. Got it?
Oh, so saturated
Isn't it?
solution, I mean,
Yes, sir.
saturated solutions are also unsaturated solutions till they get to 36 grams.
Yes, you didn't know
Exactly.
that?
See, actually, when you are having 100 gram of water, if you are just putting, let's say, 5 gram NaCl, then 10 gram, at that time it is your unsaturated. But when it reaches 36 gram, at that time it becomes
Down
saturated. Got
to
it?
saturated.
Did you
Yes.
realize every
Yes, sir.
unsaturated solution was will be saturated, every saturated once was unsaturated.
Do you
Now
realize,
tell
Shankar,
me,
this?
how can you convert a saturated solution into unsaturated? Can you convert?
Increase the temperature.
Sir,
Ex-
like yeah, exactly.
exactly. If we increase the temperature, it will become unsaturated. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
if we have to make unsaturated solution as it,
What? What? I didn't hear you. Your voice broke in the middle.
You mean like this?
I'm just saying
Yeah.
that if I have to convert unsaturated solution into saturated, what I will do? I will just decrease the
So
temperature,
add
right?
more of the solutes. Add more of the solute.
No, not need necessarily to add more salt. You
Oh,
just decrease the temperature. If you just decrease the temperature, it will become saturated. So this is very important. I hope you will remember it.
sir, but how does decreasing the temperature magically add more solute and then make it saturated, sir?
Yes,
Because the water will be evaporated.
actually see the solubility of salt. If we
Very
just
confused.
it is directly proportional to the temperature. It's not confusing. You just focus on here. If I'm just increasing the temperature, solubility of salt will also increase. But if I'm decreasing the temperature, solubility will decrease. So that's why when solubility decreases, that means salt will not get dissolved. So at that time it becomes saturated from
But
unsat.
this will only work when it was once a saturated solution.
No, I am just saying, if I'm having saturated solution and you are just increasing the temperature, at that time it will become unsaturated. But if you are having unsaturated and you are decreasing the temperature, at that time it will become saturated. You have to remember this.
So
This is
I
very
take
important.
a cup, I put 100 grams of water in it, and then I put 10 grams of NaCl in it, and then I keep it in my fridge and then let it cool for a bit, and then magically it'll have 36 grams of salt, sir.
It's
By
not
the way, it's
magic,
not
When I
it's
take it.
magic, it's
chemistry.
scientific. It's
Uh,
So that's
scientifically
but
done.
it's creating
Chemistrically.
matter, sir. I don't think that's
see, see, see. Okay, I will explain it. For example, tell
Yes,
me
sir.
that if you are having, let's say this is your beaker and there is 100-gram water in it, 100-gram water. Now I'm just putting NaCl in it, that is my sodium chloride. Now tell me, let's say I'm having 35-gram NaCl in it. Now tell me, is it saturated or unsaturated at this time?
unsaturated. Unsaturated.
Exactly, it is your unsaturated, right? Now tell me that if you will just decrease the temperature, it is at 25 degrees Celsius. Now if I'm just decreasing the temperature to let's say 5 degrees Celsius, that means I'm decreasing temperature. What will happen?
It'll be same.
It'll
See,
expand.
no,
No,
no.
Pitan,
When I will
or
just
it'll
decrease the
contract.
temperature, then what will happen? Among these 35 grams, only let's say 33 gram will dissolve, and 2 gram it will remain as such here at the bottom of the beaker. So that means it becomes now saturated. Got it?
Oh.
Yes, sir.
See, actually, I have got your confusion. Your confusion is that you just say that only it should be 36 gram. 36 gram, it is only at 25 degrees Celsius. If you just decrease the temperature, then it will not remain 36. Then saturated can be at 33, also at 30, at 25. So it depends on temperature.
Oh,
Depends on what? Depends
Yes,
on
sir.
temperature.
solution. I mean, temperature.
Yes, boss.
I am again repeating that 30. I told that if we have to make the saturated solution of NaCl, I told that 36 gram makes a saturated solution, but it makes at 25 degrees Celsius. If you have to decrease that, if you decrease the temperature, then it is not necessary it should be 36 gram. It will become saturated only at 33 gram, only at 30 gram, isn't it? Got it? Okay.
Yes.
Now there is another term. Have you written down this? Shall I move to
Yes,
the
sir.
next
Yes,
thing?
sir.
Finished, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Oh my
Done, sir.
god, Sankalp did it.
Then next is supersaturated
Eating
solution.
completely
Can you tell
finished.
me what is supersaturated solution?
Very like
Oh,
hot solution.
I
No,
don't know.
super saturated solutions bad.
Don't make jokes. I swear to God, I'll come and kill you. Yes, sir. Continue.
Okay. Now see, folks, here, if we are having a saturated solution, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you are
So
just
if we
cooling it.
add more of the solvent, if we add more of the solvent,
No, no, no. If you
oh,
are having a saturated solution and you are just cooling it, what will happen?
it'll turn into a unsaturated solution. No,
It
no,
will.
it'll turn.
No.
No, it'll not
Okay, I will write it
turn
here that
unsaturated.
if a saturated solution is cooled, if a saturated solution is cooled down,
Turn something higher than saturated.
then the salt already dissolved gets precipitated, and at that time it becomes supersaturated. Got it?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
that means we can form a supersaturated solution just by cooling a saturated solution.
So
For
it
example,
gets precipitated.
for
So
example,
the
yeah,
precipitate is
for example, if you are having 100 gram of water and you are just having here 36 gram of NaCl, so at 25 degrees Celsius, what is this? This is your saturated solution, isn't it? Okay, now I am just
at
having
25
it
degrees
here.
Celsius.
Yes, at 25 degrees Celsius, all 36 grams of NaCl, they are just dissolved in it, and there is no any precipitate. But now, if you just cool it down, if you are now cooling down it, then what will happen? See, you are again having the same, you are again having 100 gram water, and you are again here having uh, 36 gram NaCl. But what will happen here?
They're
Some
not
salt,
saturated.
yeah, it will not remain saturated. Some salt will get precipitated. That means it will come out of this dissolved state. So at that time, we call it as supersaturated. That means if you are having 36 gram of NaCl dissolved here, now here it will be only, let's say, 34 gram is dissolved. So 2 grams they have got this precipitated. 2 grams they have precipitated. So this is known as supersaturated solution. Have you got it?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
I mean, yes, sir.
Okay. So we have now left with few more topics here. We have discussed the deliquescence and efflorescence, right? I
Yes,
hope you have
yes, sir.
remembered the examples. Examples are very
Yes,
important.
sir.
Now, now let's move to the next
Globe is
page.
salt.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay. Next is your what is hygroscopy?
What?
Hygroscopy.
So
That
after we
means salt.
learned, it's easy.
Hydroscopic. Oh,
Yes, yes.
hydroscopic.
Salt.
Hygro.
Yes, salts will be known as hygroscopic salts. Now, can you tell
What?
me what is this hygroscopy?
No, we didn't know, sir.
We don't
Okay,
know,
no
sir.
problem.
We never learned this.
I will write it here. Salts which when exposed to air, which one exposed to air absorb moisture.
This is the same as efflorescence. Sir.
But there is difference. I will tell you in detail. So salts which absorb, which when exposed to air absorb moisture, but do not get converted to solution.
So
Have you got the difference?
yes.
Yes, sir.
So what was
No,
Can
once
you
what
can
give
you
was?
do the
any
previous one, sir?
example?
Yes, actually,
How? Yes, sir. So example.
yeah, I will give you the example of hygroscopic substances. Just we are having calcium oxide, calcium oxide. Just we are having the cupric oxide, that is CuO. Just we are
Isn't it
having the
Ca? Okay. Now.
H2SO4, sulfuric acid. They are all your hygroscopic substances. Just we are having the copper sulfate, that is anhydrous copper sulfate. So all these, when they are exposed to air, they just absorb a moisture, but they absorb little moisture. That means they do not get converted to solution. In case of deliquescence, the salts were absorbing so much moisture that they get converted to solution. But here no solution is formed. They actually absorb a little moisture. Got
So
the
that means
difference?
calcium oxide, copper oxide, like these aren't solutions, sir.
Yeah, exactly. They are just your solids which absorb a little bit moisture, but they do not get converted to the solution. Right.
But HCl is a solution.
No, where I give the example HCl? I just told H2SO4.
Yes, sir.
Liquid, it is
But
not
that means
solution.
HCl gets converted to solution.
No, no, it will not get converted to solution. It actually absorbs a little moisture. It will remain as such. Okay, I will just tell you. For example, if you are having this copper sulfate, tell me if you are having this copper sulfate. Now you are
Yes, sir.
just exposing it to the air. What it will happen? What will it do? It will just absorb only
Nothing will
five
happen.
water molecules. It will absorb
Okay.
only
Yes,
five
sir.
water molecules. So what it will become?
So, but there's only 5 water molecules, sir.
I am just saying you are having copper sulfate. It was your anhydrous salt, right? Now, when it absorbs five water
Yes, sir.
molecules, it will become hydrated salt, isn't it?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
But this hydrated salt, it is also your solid. It is not your solution. It is again your solid. It is still solid. So that is why I am just saying that it will not, it do not get converted to solution.
Oh,
So yes,
oh.
yes.
So even if you add salt, I mean water with water molecules with sulfuric acid, it will form like a sulfuric acid dot whatever
Exactly.
oxide it is.
Exactly. That means it will
Deca,
just
penta, like that.
it will just absorb few water molecules, not large quantity. So when actually large
Not
quantity is
necessarily
absorbed,
combined.
exactly, large quantity actually is absorbed in case of deliquescent substances. But these hygroscopic substances, they absorb little bit moisture. Have you got the difference? So these substances will
Yes,
be known
sir.
as hygroscopic substances, right?
Hygroscopic.
Hygroscopic substances.
Yes.
Exactly, hygroscopic substances. So I hope that you have got the difference between the hygroscopic substances and the deliquescent substances, correct?
Yes, sir.
So
Sir,
they'll most likely ask this in the question paper. So like difference
Exactly,
between
it is
hygroscopic and
asked. It is
effluent.
very important. Hygroscopic and deliquescent, you should have the difference. You should know the difference. In case of deliquescence, salt gets converted to solution. That means salt absorbs large quantity of moisture. But here, in case of hygroscopy,
So
salt
the
absorbs
effluent.
little.
Oh yeah. Okay,
sir.
nothing. Okay, you can continue. Okay, nothing. No, I was wrong.
Hello, sir.
Right.
Sir, am I audible? Guys, am I
No,
audible?
you're not.
Dude, I often get
No, you're
confused
not
whether I
audible.
Okay, 1 second. Listen to this, guys. Can you hear it? Did you hear it, guys?
No.
Play that again. Play that again. Play that again.
Can you
I
hear
actually
us?
heard it.
No, I'll do that. Wait a minute. So it's 50 sub. There's 3 more minutes
Oh
left.
shit! I got my hand.
Good to hear. You won't become to school
Probably with
tomorrow.
my brain because it's too sharp.
Dude, I actually cut it.
I can see it. So
Sir,
I use that.
you're on mute, sir.
Left. Wait, he left. Wait.
No, he didn't hear.
Okay. Oh my god, I'm bleeding a lot.
You
Go
should
to
probably get
hospital.
that checked out. Probably got that checked. Oh wait, it's so small, da.
Call Ashwan's parents. Yeah.
Chat received.
Can you are on mute? What?
Can you? Can you?
Oh, we can see a screen share, sir.
Oh my god, I'm bleeding like hell.
Hey,
Yeah,
shut
shut
up.
down. So anyways, it's 6:45, sir. Oh, okay. Sorry, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Hey, Tarun will be the first person to leave. And I get on.
I know.
No,
It's actually gonna be me. Bye.
no.
Okay, bye, da, Shankar.
Bye, Dad.
Nitish was the
Thank you,
first
sir. Bye,
person.
sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.